Have you ever noticed how noise fills our lives today? It's not just the external sounds, the roar of traffic, the constant pinging of notifications, or the chatter of the streets. There is a more persistent, louder, and far more exhausting noise, the one that lives inside us. Our minds have become machines that never stop talking, worrying, planning, and inevitably, comparing our path to everyone else's. But here is a fundamental truth we often forget. An overthinking mind is like the water in a pond that has been violently stirred. When the bottom is disturbed, the water becomes muddy, opaque, and dark. In this state, the pond cannot reflect anything clearly. Not the sun, not the trees, not the truth. Only when the water becomes still does the surface turn into a perfect mirror. Today's story is about a man who discovered this incredible secret. He learned that true power does not reside in agitation, but in stillness, and that discovery changed everything in his life. The weight of a noisy world. Once upon a time, in a small, peaceful town nestled at the foot of rolling green hills, there lived a man named Michael. To anyone watching from the outside, Michael was the definition of success and hard work. He owned a small furniture shop, a place that always smelled of fresh sawdust and pine resin. Michael was known for his tireless work ethic. He was the first to arrive when the morning mist still blanketed the cobblestone streets, and the last to leave when the stars had already taken their place in the sky. However, behind this facade of a dedicated craftsman, Michael carried an invisible burden. His mind was a battlefield. While his hands expertly carved the wood, his thoughts were busy carving tragedies. He worried about the bills due next month, the possibility of a customer being unhappy with a table, the looming competition from big factories, and even problems that existed only in the far reaches of his imagination. The nights were the hardest. When the town fell silent and should have offered him rest, Michael would lie awake in the dark. The theater of anxiety would begin. He would replay every mistake made during the day, every word he wished he hadn't said, every decision that could have been different. He was exhausted, not from the physical labor, but from the sheer weight of his own thoughts. "If only I could stop my mind for just 1 second," he would whisper to the shadows of his room. The breaking point. The saturation point arrived on a suffocatingly hot afternoon after a week of accumulated stress. Michael received news that his biggest client, the contract that sustained his entire workshop, had decided to take their business elsewhere. The world seemed to tilt on its axis. His hands, once so steady with his tools, began to shake uncontrollably. His heart hammered against his ribs like a trapped bird, and a pounding headache clouded his vision. He stumbled to the back of his shop, sat down on an unfinished wooden bench, and buried his face in his hands. "Why does my life feel like it's spinning out of control?" he asked the emptiness, his voice heavy with despair. Just then, an elderly man named Mr. Robert entered the shop. Robert was a longtime neighbor, a man of slow gestures and eyes that seemed to hold the secrets of time itself. He often stopped by for a cup of tea and a quiet chat about the weather. Seeing Michael's pale face and haunted gaze, he didn't offer clichés or hollow comfort. He simply asked softly, "What troubles you, my friend?" Michael sighed, tears of frustration stinging his eyes. "My mind won't stop, sir. I try to fix everything, I try to anticipate every disaster, but the more I think, the worse it gets. I feel like I'm drowning in my own thoughts." Mr. Roberts smiled with an infinite kindness and placed a steady hand on Michael's shoulder. "Come with me tomorrow morning, very early. I want to show you something that words cannot explain." The lesson of the pond. The next day, before the sun had painted the sky orange, Michael followed Mr. Robert up a winding trail behind the village. They walked in silence, the only sound being the crunch of dry leaves beneath their boots. At the summit, they reached a small pond surrounded by ancient, towering trees. The surface of the water was a sheet of perfect glass. It reflected the deep blue of the sky and the silhouettes of the trees with startling clarity. It was a scene of absolute, unshakable peace. Mr. Robert then picked up a dry branch from the ground and, with a sudden movement, stirred the edge of the pond, churning up the mud and creating ripples that spread rapidly. In seconds, the reflection of the sky vanished. The water became brown, murky, and confused. "Look at this pond, Michael," the old man said. "This pond is your mind. When it is calm, it reflects life as it truly is, with clarity and truth. But when it is disturbed by endless thoughts and anxious worries, you see nothing but confusion and mud." Michael watched in silence. He saw how the ripples took time to fade. He felt an urge to help the water become clear again, but he realized that any attempt to touch the water would only agitate it further. He had to wait. Slowly, the mud settled back to the bottom. The ripples ceased. The mirror returned. In that silence, something shifted deep inside Michael. He understood that peace wasn't something he needed to create through effort, but something he needed to allow to happen by stepping out of his own way. The practice of stillness. From that day on, Michael established a new ritual. Every morning, he climbed the hill to the pond. He didn't go there to plan his day or solve his problems. He went simply to observe the water. At first, it was agonizing. Sitting in silence, his mind would scream about overdue orders, taxes, and the uncertain future. But he remembered Mr. Roberts' advice. Don't fight your thoughts. Don't try to push them away by force. Just let them pass, like clouds drifting across the sky of the pond. As the weeks turned into months, a transformation began to manifest in Michael's daily life. His employees noticed he no longer shouted when something went wrong. His customers noticed he listened with more intent. His words became gentler, and his presence, once charged with tension, became magnetic. He still had problems, but the problems no longer had him. The trial by fire. Months later, destiny put Michael's newfound peace to the ultimate test. In the middle of a night whipped by strong winds, a fire started in the old wiring of his workshop. By the time Michael arrived, flames were already licking the roof. Neighbors and friends rushed to help, expecting to find Michael in a state of collapse, screaming or weeping at the destruction of his livelihood. To everyone's shock, they found him sitting on a stone bench across the street, watching the flames with an inexplicable calm. A friend ran up to him, breathless. "Michael, how can you just sit there? You're losing everything. Your shop, your tools, your wood, it's all turning to ash." Michael looked at his friend with a faint, serene smile. "I've lost wood and nails, my friend, but I haven't lost my peace. I can rebuild the shop with my hands, but I can't rebuild anything if I lose my mind to despair. What is burning is only the exterior. What I cultivated up there, at the pond, the fire cannot touch." That night, the town saw a different kind of strength. Not the strength of muscle or money, but the unshakable power of a balanced mind. The rebirth. In the following months, what could have been Michael's end became his greatest beginning. With the help of the community, who were inspired by his resilience, he rebuilt the shop. This time, the design was better, the workflow was smarter, and the atmosphere was one of pure harmony. Michael became more than a woodworker, he became a counselor. People from neighboring towns traveled not just to buy his furniture, but to ask, "How do you stay so calm through the storms of life?" He always answered the same way. He would take them to the small pond on the hill and say, "When your mind is calm, you can see the solution even in the heart of chaos. The world will always throw stones into your pond, but if you learn to remain still, your truth and your peace will always return." Final reflection. Michael's story teaches us that a calm spirit is not a gift given to a lucky few, but a skill cultivated through silence. Having a tranquil mind does not mean living a life without problems or challenges. It means having a mind strong enough not to drown in them. Your mind is your most precious possession. Do not let the noise of the world steal the clarity of your reflection. Remember, peace is already inside you, waiting for a moment of silence to be set free. If this story touched your heart and brought a moment of serenity to your day, know that you have the power to cultivate that same pond within yourself. Did you enjoy this journey? If so, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your comment below. We want to know, what is the stone that has been stirring up your pond lately? Share your experience, and let's build a community of peace and clarity together. A big hug, and may your mind find the silence it needs to reflect your very best. subscribe, and comment. Your participation helps this channel bring more light and calm to the lives of others.